The 42nd annual WrestleMania took place tonight in Las Vegas for the second straight year. Officially, the show took place in Paradise, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. First off, you had the Countdown to WrestleMania show. Big E, Corey Graves, Wade Barrett, and Joe Tessitore were on the panel to start off. They had a Welcome to WrestleMania 42 sign. They used the same sign last year. It mimics the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign. Jackie Redmond interviewed AJ Lee backstage. Then Kathy Kelly interviewed Stephanie Vaquer backstage. Both women were going into WrestleMania as champions. The highlight of the Countdown show was Jackie's white dress and Kathy's red dress. Both of them looking so stunning as they always do. We saw Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair with Alexa Bliss, and then the Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki, arriving in Allegiant Stadium. He had Jackie Redmond and Peter Rosenberg in the stadium by the set, and then they had this video package dedicated to WrestleMania sets, which was well done. The problem is this set doesn't hold a candle to most of the other ones. They revealed that they only had 5 days to make the set, while they had 12 last year. So they're kind of telling you this is why the set is worse than it was last year. But at the same time, I don't think comparing your set to showing all these other sets and then seeing your set this year, I mean, it makes it look inferior, even though it's not like the worst WrestleMania set they've ever done. You had Michael Cole in the ring. He talked about Hulk Hogan, and then they went to a Hulk Hogan tribute video with Michael Cole narrating. Of course, Hogan, a massive part of WrestleMania. He main evented 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias, including WrestleMania 9, which took place in Las Vegas. Of course, that was more of an impromptu main event. Byron Saxton interviewed Drew McIntyre backstage. They also did a 20-year retrospective on Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in the Iron Man match from WrestleMania 12. Then they had Shawn Michaels join the panel. He really put over a lot of the NXT talent performing on the show tonight and tomorrow. They did a countdown of the top 10 WrestleMania celebrity moments, and they had to have Shawn Michaels there because we all knew what number 1 was going to be, and it was Mike Tyson knocking out Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14. Then we went to a pre-recorded sit-down interview with Michael Cole interviewing Roman Reigns. Then they had AJ Styles join the panel. We see Stephanie Vaquer arriving, and then we went to a pre-recorded sit-down interview with Joe Tessitore interviewing Cody Rhodes. In the second hour of the Countdown show, the panel of Joe, Wade Barrett, and Big E were in the stadium. They had a pre-recorded segment with Joe Tessitore interviewing Triple H. They gave us a tour of Gorilla, which is kind of cool. I mean, they don't really need to do that. I think it was just to kill time. But then you had Kathy Kelly, Jackie Redmond, and Byron Saxton all in the stadium as you can see it begin to fill up. Well, sort of fill up, because there was a large sections of the stadium tonight that were actually tarped off. And that was very noticeable. But it is always fun to see WrestleMania, the stadium fill up with the fans. It always gets you excited when you're watching the pre-show, and that's how I felt. They also had the Snickers blimp fly around the stadium. They show us Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss arriving, and of course they were holding hands when they walked into the stadium together. They show us the Vegas Strip before we go back into the stadium to see it full as WrestleMania was about to begin. The panelists continued to preview the show as the Countdown show ended, and that's when I, who was watching the Countdown show on YouTube, turned it off and then put it on Netflix for WrestleMania 42. And the show officially started WrestleMania 42 with we see some of the scenes of Las Vegas, some of the sights, mostly the Strip. And then we go into Allegiant Stadium. They show Cody Rhodes warming up. And right when they showed Cody, he was already getting booed. And it just shows you that Las Vegas is going to be similar to Cody as it was the previous year, which was not good. They weren't very kind to Cody, to say the least. So you had Lin-Manuel Miranda narrate the WrestleMania cold open. It goes through the history of WrestleMania and its greatest moments. I said this on my SmackDown review yesterday. It was the SmackDown video package they aired for WrestleMania was actually better than the one they used for the cold open. I like the one they showed last night. And I think they might have showed it again on the Countdown show tonight earlier. So Then we got a nice shot of the fans in the stadium. And then, to start the show off, John Cena came out and he was wearing a suit and tie. It's funny, he was just in his ring gear when he was being interviewed by The Undertaker at WWE World, which aired on WWE's YouTube channel. I watched it. It was about an hour long. I actually did a review for it. Nothing much to it, but John Cena was in his ring gear. He had the jorts on, he had his shirts, he had his cap, and he had the sneakers. Here, he's in a suit and tie, and like, okay. So to start off, John Cena was a little emotional, and then he says the road to WrestleMania was chaos. Yeah, that's the understatement of the year, John Cena. Then he asked Michael Cole if it was polarizing. See, that's not true. It wasn't polarizing. It was just bad for the most part, especially on SmackDown. He says, it's polarizing, which is fitting for him because his career was polarizing to so many fans. Then he officially welcomed us to WrestleMania before the pyro went off. And then the Usos came out yeeting through the crowd. So the yeet kicks off WrestleMania 2 years in a row now in the exact same location. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett were on commentary, by the way, for the show. You had LA Knight getting the first special entrance as he drove a themed monster truck on the stage. After he made his way down the ring, and LA Knight finished his entrance, what you had was a large curtain displaying the Vision and their logo. It was displayed on stage, and then the curtain was pulled down, and the Vision, which consisted of IShowSpeed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory, made their entrance to Logan Paul's theme song with 9 different camera angles displayed on screen. And we get a 6-man tag team match, our first official match for WrestleMania. The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory with IShowSpeed, teaming with them. Taking on the Usos, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, teaming with LA Knight. So Speed and Knight started off. It really wasn't much. It was just kind of Speed trying to get out of there. Then you had the guy in green, by the way. He was in the front row. Had to mention him. And the heels got the heat for a while as you get in a standard tag team match. Then Jay got the hot tag from Jimmy. Theory got mad at Speed because he bumped into Logan Paul, knocking him off the apron. And what happened after that was Speed then accidentally bumped into Theory, and then Theory got hit with the BFT by LA Knight, and LA Knight pinned Austin Theory to win the match for his team. So this was a nothing match. There was nothing to this. It was so forgettable. I don't even know what to say. You'll see matches on Raw and SmackDown, tag team matches, they get longer time than this. Like, it was so short. I'll have to, I'm actually looking up the runtime right now for all the matches. This match only got 7 minutes, barely over 7 minutes. No time to really have anything good here. And it was all built around IShowSpeed and him, having heat with Logan Paul. So after the match, Logan Paul turns on IShowSpeed. Then he's ready to put him through the announce table. Speed's on the table, and Logan's in the ring ready to climb the turnbuckle when the Usos and LA Knight attack Logan Paul in the ring. They give him the 1D, and then they put Logan Paul on the announce table after Speed's off. And then they had IShowSpeed get in the ring with them. He climbs the top rope. Then he goes onto the post, and he hits a frog splash onto Logan Paul from the post through the announce booth. And, of course, that gets a pop. All I thought was, I felt watching this, I just felt bad for LA Knight and the Usos, because they have to make it like they're so excited for IShowSpeed to have this great moment, when in reality they're just background players for IShowSpeed, because WWE wants to have a viral moment on social media, and they're going to get that. I'm sure this moment with Speed hitting the frog splash and LA Knight through the announce table got them a whole bunch of views on social media, probably a crazy amount of views. But you know what? I felt bad for the faces here, because they're an afterthought here. It's all about IShowSpeed and Logan Paul. That's what this whole match was really about. And IShowSpeed getting them views, and it screamed TKO involvement. That's all I can think of is, oh great, here we go again with these fucking celebrities. But it was cool to see a frog splash through an announce table, but we've seen that before. I think getting confused. Logan Paul did that to Jelly Roll at SummerSlam last year. It's like, okay, whatever. But then after that, after this nothing match, by the way, it was a mediocre, nothing, forgettable match. Just there's nothing to it. It wasn't bad or anything. It was so short, it was hard to really judge it. So then we went to an Usos Snickers commercial, followed by a 4-minute commercial break on Netflix for me, as I'm watching on Netflix, and I got a 4-minute commercial. Okay. Commercials during WrestleMania. Commercials during WrestleMania. Oh my God. Fuck TKO. That's all I got to say about that. So then they show us the Vegas Strip and then Allegiant Stadium outside. Then they show George Kittle, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Tyrese Halliburton in the crowd. And George Kittle stole Tyrese's beer. And it's like, okay, I get these guys are fans. And I don't want to get mad at George Kittle and Tyrese Halliburton. They're just fans there. It's not their fault that he puts the camera on them. It's just like it's getting so much time, and it's just kind of annoying. Then they show Stephen A. Smith in the crowd, who gets booed heavily, which he kind of embraced. But they don't like Stephen A. in Vegas at WrestleMania. So then Jacob Fatu gets a special entrance. What you had was 2 Samoan men with torches performed on the stage before he makes his entrance. A pretty good entrance, I thought. I liked that one. And then Drew McIntyre also had a special entrance. What happened was there was a display of like an LED board that was bricked. And what happens is you can actually see the sword cut through the wall, the LED brick wall. And then like the frame of the door falls down and Drew makes his entrance. And the sword was back tight, which was pretty cool. I actually like Drew's entrance. And then we get an unsanctioned matchup here, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. So early on, Fatu hits a suicide dive onto Drew as he was coming out. So like right as Drew's making his entrance, Fatu hits a suicide drive. Then Fatu he threw Drew into the barricade, and then he introduced 2 tables, threw a bunch of chairs into the ring, and then he brought in the toolbox. So then Drew got the upper hand for a bit, and that gave him a chance to do his annual selfie. And his tweet, his official tweet was, "I love this game," as it's a video of him beating up Jacob Fatu. That's the one thing I look forward to at WrestleMania every year now. No matter how many commercials I have to sit through, at least we get Drew McIntyre doing his annual selfie and his tweet. That's always entertaining no matter what. So the match picked up in the ring. Drew hit a diving senton to the outside, which looked good. And then Jacob hit the moonsault, but Drew kicked out. And then Drew used a wrench, and then like he hit Jacob in the knee with the wrench. And he kind of like used the wrench. Looked like he was gonna cut open Jacob Fatu in the forehead. And I thought Jacob was gonna bleed, and especially because the referee already had his gloves on. So I thought, oh, we're gonna get some blood here. No, and I should have known better. It's on ESPN2 in the States, but here in Canada, I'm watching on Netflix. I thought, oh, we're gonna get blood. No, we didn't. We did get blood tonight though. But after that, Drew hit a suplex onto Jacob Fatu on 2 folded chairs. The problem was he didn't really go through them. And all I thought was, Drew last year had a much better match against Damian Priest on WrestleMania 41 Night 2. That was better than this. That was actually a better match in this. And I really liked that match. And this was still decent, but this wasn't as good as that. So chairs were used. They hit each other with chairs. They used the referee's belt to whip each other. And then Fatu kicked out of a Claymore. Drew hit Fatu with a steel chair when he was on the top rope. And then Drew shoved Fatu off the top rope, sending him through a table on the outside. And Fatu like kind of took a corkscrew type of bump, which looked good. And then they're back in the ring. Jacob hits Drew with the empty toolbox, and that sets up Drew on the table in the ring. And then Fatu hits his moonsault, driving Drew McIntyre through the table. And Jacob Fatu pins Drew McIntyre to win the matchup. I thought it was a solid match, but it was just so basic. I've seen this match a million times in the WWE in like the last few years. It's such a basic, hardcore street fight, Extreme Rules, unsanctioned match. That's what it's officially called for this one. We've seen this match a million times. It was fine, but I like the match Drew had last year with Damian Priest better than this. And this really wasn't much to it. And as I wrote this down in my notes, it was noticeable to see some of the sections of the stadium tarped off, especially in this match. You can see it around where the entrance area is. Man. And it looks like to me that the stage was moved up from last year where it was moved back. Here it's moved up, and that's because, there's a lot of empty seats behind it. And then we had, after Jacob Fatu celebrates his win, We got more commercials during WrestleMania. Oh my god, fuck TKO. There's always been ads on WWE shows. That's fine. On PLEs or pay-per-views or whatever they were, that's okay. Commercials? That's totally different. A 4-minute commercial break? Like it's television? How is this even a premium live event anymore? What makes it premium? Are you kidding me? We're getting commercials during WrestleMania? There's going to come a time. This is not crazy to say. One of these PLEs, they're going to do commercials during the match just like you see on Raw and SmackDown every week. That's coming. If that's not crazy to say. We're going to get commercials during PLEs where the match is going on and then, Michael Cole is going to say, we'll be back after this break. And then they're going to go to a 4-minute commercial break. That's going to happen one day. I'm telling you that's going to happen. It'll happen during a WrestleMania. It'll happen during the Royal Rumble for all I know. It's going to happen. Anyway, they show the WWE Snickers blimp in the stadium. And then we hear from the Spanish broadcast team. Then they preview the rest of the show. And I'm watching on Netflix in Canada, but for viewers in the States, they're telling you that, you would be on the ESPN app. It's off ESPN2. So they're talking to new viewers. They're hoping they're getting to sign up for ESPN. Next, you had Alicia Taylor in the ring explain the rules for the next match, which was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Alexa Bliss was out first. She got a decent pop, and she was dressed as a moth, and she looked amazing, as she always does. She's incredibly beautiful. She is the cutest woman in the history of the WWE, and her gear looked great. The makeup looked great, and then Charlotte Flair came out with her, and she's dressed as a butterfly. It's kind of like Alexa's supposed to be dark, Charlotte's supposed to be light, and Charlotte looked amazing too. When she came out in her butterfly gear, she looked incredible. And then you had Alexa and Charlotte walking down, and Alexa actually kissed her daughter Hendrix on the way to the ring. She was being held up by Alexa's husband. And then, as I said, both look really, really attractive tonight. Both look great. And then Lyra Valkyria comes out, and Bayley was with her. So, it was funny because Bayley didn't get her own entrance, unlike Alexa and Charlotte, who had their own entrances. Bayley did not. All I thought was, well, they probably didn't sign Bayley long-term yet. She's probably still planning on reuniting with Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks, in AEW in September. So that's why I thought, Bayley didn't get her own entrance at WrestleMania because they probably haven't signed her long-term yet, or maybe she already gave her notice. I don't know. So then Nia Jax and Lash Legend came out, and they were dressed as Demolition in white. And Demolition used to always come out in the black. It was like a white version of Demolition in terms of their gear. And they showed Demolition in the crowd. And Nia and Lash, of course, were the Women's Tag Team Champions. And then the Bella Twins were out next. Nikki came out with Brie, and Nikki was on crutches. Nikki also had a microphone in her hand. She says she couldn't get cleared, so she found a replacement to team with Brie, so Brie can have a WrestleMania moment. And I think to the surprise of very little people, as it already got out yesterday, it was Paige making her return to the WWE. She got a big pop, and this was her big return. She was in great shape, by the way. You have to give her that. No matter what you think of Paige and Brie winning the Women's Tag Team titles, Paige looked in great shape. Got a big pop, and she had the Stars in the Night theme song. I used to love that theme song, man, especially when I first heard it, when she used it in NXT. And I think the first time was that Arrival match, NXT Arrival against Emma, if I'm not mistaken, that she won. That's a great theme song, so I'm glad to hear that theme song back. And she looked like old school Paige too when she first came in. Actually, when she won the women's title from AJ Lee the night after WrestleMania 30, that was kind of like the Paige version of Paige we were getting here. And again, big pop here, and then we get the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, defended in a Fatal 4-Way match. Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend and Nia Jax defending their titles against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, and Brie Bella and Paige. So early on, Brie does the yes kicks, which the fans do. They chant yes for it, and they look awful, as they always do when Brie hits them. They always look bad. And then after that, Alexa and she was in the ring. They got the heat on Alexa, and all I thought was, wow, Alexa and Charlotte look really good tonight. I wonder who did Alexa's hair because it looked great. And someone else, another woman also had her hair done really well tonight. Anyway, Paige finally got the hot tag. She got a big pop. She hit the Paige Turner on Lyra, but then Bayley broke it up. Eventually, Bayley was not. She really did very little in this match. Bayley, and maybe they know she's gone. They're gonna get Bayley and Sasha again soon, I think, just not in the same company. But like she was just an afterthought. Lyra, I think, did a lot more than Bayley for their team. And Nia and Lash, like, barely. I remember them doing very little in this match. It really was about Charlotte and Alexa against Paige and Brie. So eventually it comes down to Paige and Charlotte. They have a back and forth, and this was definitely the best part of the match. Charlotte actually hit the natural selection, and then she tags in Alexa to hit the Twisted Bliss on Paige. But then what happens is Nikki Bella was standing right there, and she pulled Charlotte Flair out, and she attacked Charlotte with the crutch she was holding up. And this distracts Alexa, and now it's delayed. The Twisted Bliss is delayed. She hits it finally, but then Paige has time to recover, so Paige gets her knees up and reverses it, and then Paige gets Alexa up for a Rampage DDT, hits it on Alexa. 1, 2, 3, Paige pins Alexa Bliss to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships with Brie Bella. Okay. Paige was emotional. She celebrated the title win with Brie and Nikki. Okay, that's fine. Here's the thing. Like, why in 2026 do we need to have Paige and Brie Bella as your Women's Tag Team Champions? The whole thing is we're moving past the Divas era, and I know, like, Paige was the anti-diva and stuff, but Paige and Brie as champions, Women's Tag Team Champions in 2026, I mean, would I rather see them as champions than Nia and Lash, at least in the short term? Yeah, but I don't know. It's like, why? I don't need to see this. It tells me that Brie and Nikki were probably going to win this match. They were probably set up to win this matchup, Brie and Nikki were. And they wanted, the Bellas always wanted to have a run as the Women's Tag Team Champions, and they were probably going to get it here. And I'm sure TKO would prefer them to win the match too, but I don't know. Like, I don't need to see Paige and Brie as champions. I don't want to see that. I mean, it's a fine, nice moment for Paige, but I mean, eventually the nostalgia thing is going to wear out sooner than later. I don't know. I don't really see a need to bring her back, especially with all this talent. It's like, okay, Paige is on the show, Brie Bella is on the show, Julia is not, Tiffany Stratton is not on WrestleMania. I hate saying this. Io Sky is not on WrestleMania, for God's sake. Asuka's not on WrestleMania. Kairi Sane's not on WrestleMania. There's so many other women who are way better than this who are not on WrestleMania. Jordan Grace is not on WrestleMania. I can keep Chelsea Green is not on WrestleMania. It's like so many women are so much better than this, and it's like they're not on this show, but we're going back to Brie and Paige and the Bellas, and like, why? I don't know. And like that nostalgia pop will wear out eventually. It's like, it's not long term. It's not sustainable. A lot of what this company is doing is just isn't sustainable. So they had the Mandalorian and Grogu from Star Wars. I don't even know if I pronounce it. Grogu. I don't even know how to fucking say it right. They were in attendance, and then we got a Star Wars movie preview. So we got more advertisements soon after that. So yeah, fuck TKO. Okay. So I wrote this down in my notes. 90 minutes into the show, only 30 minutes of actual wrestling. Look, the problem isn't Triple H. It's TKO. How are you supposed to book a show when like so much of the show is cut off just for advertisements? It's like a 4-hour show. It was 4 hours, WrestleMania was. I went from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's where I am. But the actual show isn't that long because a half hour, a good chunk of it's taken away from commercials. And then you have other advertisements on the show that are also present. And like the entrances are long, but the entrances are always long for WrestleMania. So I'm thinking the issue is TKO. Triple H can do a better job. His creative is horrible, especially for SmackDown. But I mean, how are you supposed to book this? There's so much they have to do with celebrities. So much they have to do with these advertisements. They really don't have a chance. They have to be fed. Like they're putting money into WWE. They want their stuff promoted. It's TKO. I don't know what to say. So they show the WWE Superstore, then they show us more celebrities, most of them D-listers, whatever. I'm not going to even tell you how many of them were I recognize, and I don't give a shit. Most of them were D-list people, by the way. So the Wonder Years were on stage to perform Becky Lynch's theme song as she made her way out. Becky, of course, looking beautiful. Becky, she looked great. How could you say anything else? Whether or not you think she might be annoying on the mic sometimes, she looked incredible. And I liked her gear too. And I thought, her hair looked just beautiful. It was so well done. Similar to when I saw with Alexa. I saw Alexa's hair and Becky's hair. Man, whoever did their hair is doing a great job. And Charlotte also looked great. And there's more women who looked great tonight. So, but yeah, I just noticed that with Becky's hair, and it reminded me like, wow, whoever did Becky's hair must have also done Alexa's hair because they both look so nice. But then Becky had a cool entrance, and then you had a bunch of little girls after that dressed up as AJ Lee coming out, and AJ, they accompany AJ to the ring. She skips with them, a whole bunch of them, and we learned actually on the post-show that many of these girls were actually related to AJ Lee, at least some of them. There was her nieces were actually there. I'm not sure which ones were her nieces, but she had so many women. They can't all be related to her, but she wanted little girls featured, dressed up as her. It meant a lot to her. Really nice moment for AJ Lee. And her first match at WrestleMania in 11 years, just like Paige, they mentioned that on commentary. It was actually AJ Lee and Paige teaming up against the Bella Twins at WrestleMania 31. They won that match, and then the next year, the next day actually, I think AJ they wrestled another match on Raw, and then AJ retired. Paige actually did have a match at WrestleMania 32. She teamed with Brie Bella, but that was on the pre-show. But AJ having her first match, 11 years. She was 2-0 going into WrestleMania before this match because she actually won at WrestleMania 30. But you have the Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line. AJ Lee defending her title against Becky Lynch. So Jessica Carr was the referee for this match, and that was a story here. It was more about Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr than Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Becky hit a fall-away slam onto the barricade earlier in the match, and that was probably the best spot because it actually looked pretty good. AJ got a lot of offense in. AJ kicks out of a manhandle slam. Becky argues with the referee. It led to Becky getting hit with the manhandle slam by AJ, but Becky kicks out. Becky got out of a Black Widow. She grabbed AJ's hair, and it looked bad. The spot just looked so out of place, and like it looked awkward. It didn't seem like that was their intention, but I'm thinking she pulled her hair. What's wrong with that? Is that illegal, pulling hair? I don't know. That's not that bad. And Becky gets out of it. After that, what happens was Becky gets out of the Black Widow, and earlier in the match, she loosened the top turnbuckle, and then she removed it later on as the referee didn't see it, and there was a thing where the referee was in between them. She got hit by AJ. It's so confusing. And then Becky, the referee doesn't see this. Becky drives AJ Lee into the exposed turnbuckle. Then Becky hits the manhandle slam and pins AJ Lee to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship for now the third time. So Becky beats AJ Lee. She finally beats her. AJ beat Becky every time before this. She tapped her out at WrestlePalooza, tapped her out at Survivor Series, and tapped her out at Elimination Chamber to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now Becky wins it back. Pyro goes off. Becky celebrated. AJ looks disappointed in the ring. Nothing match here. Similar to their match last month, or not more than last month now, almost 2 months ago. Nothing match. It was just average. Mediocre. It really didn't have much time. 8 minutes. 8 minutes is all they had. That's a little bit less than the Women's Tag Team Championship match had. 8 minutes. So the women on the show, they didn't get any time. Like none of their matches. 8 minutes for the Women's Tag match. Little over 8 minutes for the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, and then under 7 minutes for the Women's World Championship, but we'll get to that later. So after that, we got another 4-minute commercial break. Great. I don't know what else to say. Oh my God. We're getting commercials during PLE. It's like, fuck right off, TKO. We had an LA Knight Snickers commercial. I joked. I thought, LA Knight, his commercials on the show were actually longer than his actual match. That's funny. You had more celebrities in attendance. You had Terrence Crawford and other D-listers. All I really recognized was Crawford. I know he's a good boxer. So Gunther was out next, and then Seth Rollins was out with a special entrance. He had these black contacts on. I had no idea what it was from. Michael Cole mentioned it was something to do with Game of Thrones. I don't know. Then eventually the contacts were off. I'm not sure if they were just done digitally with the camera or whatever. I don't know. But then we get Seth Rollins versus Gunther in what was easily the best match on this entire show. As you'd expect, I think it's impossible for these two to have a bad match together, even on this show. And then that's telling you what I think of this WrestleMania 42 Night 1. But I don't think Seth Rollins and Gunther can have a bad match together. And they had easily the best match on the night here. So they brawled before the bell even rang. Then the match finally began. Gunther got the heat for a while. Then Seth got some offense in. Gunther kicked out of a curb stomp. Seth got out of a sleeper hold that Gunther had on him. Then Seth hit the superplex from the top rope, and then he puts on the Falcon Arrow where he holds on and hits the Falcon Arrow. Always looks good. And then Gunther kicks out of that, but then after Gunther kicks out, Seth locks in the sleeper. They tease Gunther tapping out 2 years in a row. That wasn't going to happen. He's not tapping again. No way. Gunther gets to the ropes, and then Seth hit 3 consecutive suicide dives on the outside. The problem was on the third suicide dive is when Gunther caught him, and he hit a powerbomb onto Seth Rollins on the apron, which looked good. And then he hit a second powerbomb on the announce booth. But Seth Rollins fights back. He hits a pedigree on the announce booth. It doesn't break. And then he goes to the other announce booth. I think it's I'm not sure if it was like the main booth with Cole and Barrett or the Spanish booth, but he goes on to the other one, and then like he jumps off it and he hits a curb stop onto Gunther onto the other booth, which looked good, and it looked better in a way because it doesn't break. It looks like he's hitting a flat surface and makes it look more devastating. And right there, I thought, oh shit, they're gonna get counted out here. I mean, I'm thinking, oh, they've had to have been outside of the ring that longer than 10 seconds. But what happens is it draws a referee to check on Gunther instead of counting him out, which he should have done. But the ref is checking on Gunther, so he's distracted. And Seth is like, he's on the side of the ring by the barricade. And that is when he gets speared by Braun Breaker. And no surprise, we all expected Braun Breaker to at least make an appearance on this show. I didn't know if he'd get physical due to his injury, but he spears Seth Rollins. And then after that, Seth is in the ring. Gunther gets back in the ring, and Seth was still looking at Braun Breaker. He's distracted. He doesn't realize Gunther's behind him. Gunther locks in the sleeper hold, and Seth passes out. Gunther wins the match. Very good matchup here. Easily the best match on the entire show. Really enjoyed it. So afterwards, the whole focus became on Braun Breaker, not Gunther's win. What happens is Braun hits a super spear on Seth Rollins where like he runs down the ramp, he sprints down the ramp, and then he spears Seth, who was near the ringside area. The problem is it looked bad because he didn't hit Seth. It looked like he hit Seth's thigh or something. He just hit the spear too low. It did not look good at all. He missed bad. Then he had Paul Heyman join Braun Breaker on top of the ramp, raised his arm, and Gunther I just thought was an afterthought here. There was a Danhausen blimp flying around. I'm sure he's going to have a segment tomorrow night. Then you had the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame class. The Hall of Fame class of 2026. On stage, you had Hogan versus Andre, and we saw Nick Hogan, Andre's daughter, forget her name, and Jimmy Hart all on stage representing that. Then Bad News Brown's family was on stage to represent him. Dennis Rodman was on stage, and then you had Demolition on stage, Axe and Smash, and then Sid Vicious, his family was on stage. I heard one of his sons was not happy with how Sid was treated. They thought he should have got more time, and he went on a long rant, and I actually saved the screenshot. So, good for you. I think it's Sid's son, one of his sons, I'm sure, went on that rant. Good for you. Sid should have been treated better. He had 2 WrestleMania main events. He at least deserved his own separate Hall of Fame induction that was not a legacy induction. I'm glad he stood up for Sid, and I did think they didn't treat Sid well. I'm glad he wrote that. But Sid, he was represented, and AJ Styles had his own entrance. He came out, and then Stephanie McMahon had her own entrance, and so you had 2 headliners, I guess. AJ and Stephanie. Stephanie stands in the middle wearing a blue dress, and so Stephanie really was the headliner, I guess. But AJ and Stephanie had their own entrances. And then we get another 4-minute commercial break. Fuck ESPN. They're screwing the international viewers on Netflix and the viewers domestically. Fuck ESPN. Fuck TKO. I don't know what else to say. Ever since WWE PLEs have gone to ESPN, they've gotten so fucking terrible. They've gone considerably worse than what they were before, and that was not good. I mean, you look at last year, the PLEs before the ESPN show, the first one was WrestlePalooza. They weren't good. since ESPN, they've been atrocious. A lot of it's due to these commercials, and matches don't get any time. And I'm just, it's like, man, I'm so sick of this. It's fucking bullshit. So I had to mention this. The Rock made an appearance on the show. He did it. We saw The Rock via Fortnite. The Rock was on via Fortnite because we got a Fortnite commercial. The Rock was there. As was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He appeared on the Fortnite commercial too near the end. We didn't get him tonight. We might get him tomorrow. But so you had The Rock and Stone Cold making appearances via Fortnite. Isn't that great, everybody? They preview tomorrow's show. I don't know why they have to do that, but they do. It's just like, it just kills so much time. You can give some of these matches some more time. It's just so fucking annoying. So then they play Liv Morgan's Trouble song. I thought, oh, okay. She's gonna get her entrance. Now that this is her official theme song. They already said it on Raw, but now we know. Instead, what happens is we got the sexiest moments in WrestleMania history, and what has to be the sexiest entrance in the history of professional wrestling. What happens is Liv essentially does a live performance of her Trouble music video, and you had the people who were in the music video actually on stage with her. And Liv is dressed in like this suit that's like rippable. You can like rip it off. And what happens is she dances at first, and she dances with the man. He carries her. She does moves with him, and it's very sexual. I'm not gonna lie. And what happens after that is she begins to dance, and all the women were dancing with her. Then they all got like down beside her, and they started touching her body, which they were lucky. Who wouldn't want to start touching Liv Morgan? But they were getting really closer, and I realized, oh, they're gonna rip her clothes off, and that's what they did. You had all these women dancing with Liv Morgan, and they rip Liv Morgan's clothes off. Yes, this is the PG show, and it reveals her ringer, and oh my god, she looked fucking sexy. Liv Morgan was insanely hot tonight. She was the sexiest, I'll say that. Wow, Liv Morgan, this is the hottest entrance. That woman continued to touch Liv as she gets closer to the ring. They're still like touching her, and it's like, wow. Yeah, that's the hottest entrance I've ever seen, and Liv looked great as you expect her to, and yeah, she still had some of the bruising on her face from the thing, the Raw a week or two ago when she bumped into Roxanne Perez. They bumped heads when Stephanie Vaquer pushed them, but that was the hottest entrance I've ever seen. It was hotter than the music video. They like you literally saw several women ripping off Liv Morgan's clothes. I enjoyed that as a heterosexual male to me. And then Stephanie Vaquer made her entrance as she was rained down with red confetti. Not much to it. She just had confetti. She had that horrible theme song. She lost her great old theme song, but her new horrible theme song. And Stephanie is out. Then Alicia Taylor did the ring introductions. We get the Women's World Championship on the line. Stephanie Vaquer defends her title against the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. Yeah, all I thought was how hot was that Liv Morgan entrance. That's all I can think of watching this, because the match didn't last too long. In fact, I thought the entrances might have been longer than the frickin' match because this was under 7 minutes. That's a joke. A Women's World Championship match at WrestleMania being under 7 minutes. It's one thing for the tag team titles or the mid-card titles to not have a lot of time. 7 minutes? They don't even get 7 minutes. So it's less than 7 minutes for a Women's World Championship match. That has to be one of the shortest times since the Divas era. Are you kidding me? How are you supposed to have a good match where you don't have any time? And this is this is a co-main event World Championship match that's actually been built up pretty damn well on TV. And it's been one of the better built up matches. And the road to WrestleMania was pretty bad this year. And like, that's it? Oh my god. Anyway, Stephanie looked great too. I needed to say that because Stephanie Vaquer, it's the hottest match ever between like two women, two very hot women. Stephanie hits the Devil's Kiss. The fans love it. That's why people like Stephanie. She hits the Devil's Kiss. No Booker T to do the but she did the Devil's Kiss. The fans did the in his honor. And as I said, it has to be like the hottest match, but it's not a match that lasted too long. Liv got hit with her own move, Oblivion, but she kicked out. And then Roxanne Perez, who I have to say looking insanely hot. Like the camera was right under Roxanne. I think she's like wearing her skirt, like the skirt, so you can like see her ass. And geez, Roxanne Perez is insanely sexy. She distracts the referee. That's when Raquel Rodriguez knocks Stephanie Vaquer off the top rope. Liv Morgan then hits Oblivion, and I thought, oh, that's too quick. Are you kidding me? But Stephanie kicks out. Then you had Roxanne and Raquel continue to interfere. Eventually, Stephanie takes them both out, which hits a springboard cross body to the outside. So Roxanne and Raquel are eliminated after this, but then we go back in the ring. Liv eventually hits a second Oblivion on Stephanie Vaquer. 1, 2, 3. She is your new Women's World Champion. Liv was very emotional after she won the match. She jumped in Dom's arms, and she celebrated as new champion. Roxanne and Raquel got in the ring with them, and the four of them celebrated. Liv holds the belt high. She's emotional. She's the new Women's World Champion. Judgment Day stands tall with Liv Morgan, your new Women's World Champion. So congratulations to Liv. Nice moment for her. Happy for her. Loved her entrance. I'll say that one more time. Here's the thing. The match it's a joke. 7 minutes. The Women's World Championship match only gets 7 minutes. The match is a joke. That's a joke for WWE to let that happen. 7 minutes. Didn't even get that. It was 6:50. That's the Wikipedia listing as of now. What a joke. So after that, you had John Cena in the ring, and he talked about the attendance, and he talked about the speculation about the attendance. He announced it as 50,816 people, which is, big departure from last year, which was around 60,000. They did great numbers last year. Now that's 10,000 less, and that's what you get. TKO when you want to charge people an arm and a leg to attend a wrestling show. When you want to attend, traveling to Vegas isn't cheap. Hotels aren't cheap. Plane tickets aren't cheap. You want to charge people this kind of money in Las Vegas, you have a massive decline in attendance, and you have to tarp a lot of the seats out. And that was very noticeable in tonight's show. You saw a lot of tarps. Tarps were out. So then Bianca Belair came out next after John Cena announced the attendance, and that made me smile. I was happy to see Bianca. We haven't seen her in so long, and the first thing I noticed was, oh wow, she still has her finger wrapped because of the finger injury, and she's wearing blue roses, a blue rose robe. Last year, I think it was a red rose robe, so this year is blue. I think it's a nice contrast. I'm not sure if it was a violet robe. I don't know exactly what it was, but it looked really good. So she says she misses the fans. They cheer for her. Really nice moment. And then she opens the robe to reveal a surprise. She revealed a baby bump. Yes, Bianca Belair is pregnant. This got a massive pop. One of the most wholesome moments, a nice moment in WrestleMania history. Really nice to see it. Bianca is emotional. The fans cheer for her. John Cena hugs her. So really nice to see that. I was looking forward to seeing Bianca return, and she technically did, but for a different reason. Obviously, much more important for her to be a mother now, which she is going to be. So congratulations to Bianca Belair. Congratulations to Montez Ford as well. And not that this really matters, but where the hell are the Street Profits? We haven't seen them in months. We got a commercial for Cody's Wheatley Vodka, and then they plug WrestleMania 43. Then they gave us the WrestleMania 42 Night 1 main event video package. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Pat McAfee got his own entrance. He flipped off the crowd. He's literally saying fuck you to some of the fans. You can hear him saying that. I don't know if ESPN wants it, or I don't know if they even give a shit. So a giant LED Viper appeared on the screens on the main Titantron stage. And what happens is you have this Viper appear, and then Randy Orton makes his entrance, and it was definitely an upgrade over the infamous Seaman Viper he rode to the ring at WrestleMania 33. The fans sang voices, they sang his theme song as he walked down the ramp. Randy, of course, being Randy, took his time as usual. He's massively over in front of this crowd. Then Cody Rhodes also had a special entrance, highlighting his career. It was Cody Rhodes from the Legacy, and we saw the gear. What you saw was you had 4 glass boxes, and each box had a mannequin, and each mannequin had Cody's gear. So the first one was the Cody Rhodes Legacy gear. Then you had dashing Cody Rhodes gear, which was pretty cool. I actually like that gimmick. And then they did the Stardust gear. Yes, Stardust gear. And then they had Cody having his return gear as the American Nightmare when he came back at WrestleMania 38. That was the fourth one. All of them were displayed on glass boxes on stage as music was played, kind of like epic music was played during that. And then Cody Rhodes rises up from under the stage in a nightmare mask, and Kingdom plays his theme song as Cody made his entrance. Here's one thing I noticed right away. I saw Cody crying. He got emotional. Right when Cody cries, when he gets emotional, that means he's winning. And I know, is he going to win? I didn't want him to win. I thought Randy should have won. I remember 2 years ago at WrestleMania 40, he makes his entrance. He's already crying. I thought, all right, Cody's winning. Then last year at SummerSlam, he's crying before he makes his entrance against John Cena. Okay, Cody's winning. He's crying here. I thought, was he winning? So he makes his entrance. He's wearing a golden mask. It was really cool. It was a great entrance. He hugged Brandy, who was at ringside with Cody's daughter as well. Cody held up his daughter, hugged her before he officially got in the ring for the main event. So Pat McAfee took the mic away from Alicia Taylor as she was introducing Randy Orton. He insults the fans as Pat introduces Randy Orton, and Alicia introduces Cody Rhodes. He was booed during the introduction, so we get the undisputed WWE Championship on the line in our main event. Cody Rhodes defending his championship against Randy Orton. So Pat right away hits Cody with the mic, but Cody fights him and Randy off. Cody hits Crossroads onto Pat. Cody puts Pat on the announce booth on the outside, and then Jelly Roll appears. More celebrities. Jelly Roll got on the announce booth, and he elbow dropped Pat McAfee, driving him through the booth. Okay, that was fine. I thought, all right, okay, just be done with this. Then they bring out a stretcher. They put Pat McAfee on a stretcher. For what? It wasn't that bad. He just took an elbow drop through the announce booth. Jelly Roll isn't even jelly anymore. He's skinny. He doesn't have a jelly belly anymore. He's not even fat that much. Like, what? That's it? I mean, Pat McAfee has had matches at WrestleMania before. Now he takes one bump and he has to go out on a stretcher. Like he got thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell or something. Like, what the fuck? And then they take him out and he's like flipping off the fans on the stretcher. It made me laugh. It's like, it's kind of like it's so bad. It's like, why is this on the show? Then the match officially started. It was still light outside. I wanted to mention this. This is the first time where WrestleMania was light. It was light outside all the way through because the show started off 3 p.m. Pacific there. Last year it started an hour later. So it's light the whole time for all 4 hours. That's never happened before, I don't think. Where WrestleMania is just light all the way through. So Randy tweaked his back early on, and I think he was already injured. And Cody works on Randy's back, which, I mean, he's working basically as a heel. The match is really slow to start off. The fans were basically dead. In some ways, it kind of reminded me of a match Randy Orton had with Triple H at WrestleMania 25 in the main event where, like, the fans were dead. But at least that had the excuse of following Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Here, they weren't following anything. Well, a 6-minute women's title match? Like, what? I don't know. Then Randy goes face first into the ring post, and that's when the match really, really picks up into high gear. It got so much better because Randy went into the ring post on the outside, and he was busted open. Randy Orton was bleeding good here, and this is really match really, really improved. Cody beats him down. He hits a draping DDT, and he's really getting the heat on Randy. It looks like, Cody's going to turn heel. They're doing a double turn, and that's great. I'm really happy to see that, doing a double turn, having Cody go heel now. Well, not exactly. So Randy hits a crossroads onto Cody, but Cody kicks out. And then Cody hit the RKO onto Randy. Randy kicked out. Cody kicks out of an RKO. And I think he was going for an RKO, but then Randy caught him. It was like Cody was doing the Randy thing where he teases, like he's gearing up for the RKO, but then Randy hit it on Cody, which was a good visual here. They had some cool counters into the RKO during this match, I'll say. They did dueling strikes. Cody was busted open now from the strikes. Fans were booing Cody every time he punched Randy, but Cody's busted open, and I don't know exactly what happened, the reason for it. He just got punched, but Cody's bleeding a lot worse than Randy was, and Randy got thrown into the ring post. Cody is gushed, and like the blood's going into his hair, like bleeding. Cody has the blonde hair, so like it dyes the hair red. I think Dusty Rhodes used to do that. Ric Flair used to do that. So Cody, of course, playing homage, and he's bleeding really good here. So what happens is Cody pokes Randy in the eye, and I thought, oh great, Cody's turning heel. That's interesting. For sure, he poked him in the eye. Not exactly. That causes Randy Orton to RKO Charles Robinson because he can't see. And then Cody hits a low blow, and it looks like for sure he's heel now. Okay. He's going to hit Randy with the belt, pin him like, Cody lost to John Cena last year. No, Cody goes for a disaster kick, and this was the best spot of the night, by the way. Cody went for the disaster kick. Randy caught him with an RKO. It looked really good. And he's going to pin him, but the referee was down. That's when Pat McAfee made a run-in as the referee. He counts 1-2, but Cody kicks out. Then Randy is pissed at Pat, so he hits an RKO on Pat McAfee, and this doesn't make any sense. Pat makes this heroic return wearing a neck brace. And why would Randy want Charles Robinson as the referee instead of Pat fucking McAfee, who's going to cheat on his behalf, who's going to attack Cody? Why would you want Robinson as the referee again? This was so fucking stupid. Makes Randy look like a fool. Cody recovers right after Randy hits an RKO onto Pat, hits a crossroads onto Randy Orton. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes pins Randy Orton, retains his WWE Championship, much to the dismay of the crowd. And people are booing. Both Cody and Randy were busted open in the match. Cody celebrates the boos before Randy grabs the championship from Cody and hits him over the head with it. As Cody is bleeding, Randy holds the belt, and I thought, oh, is he going to embrace him now? It's like, all right, we got the Viper, we got the 09 Orton, but now he's going to embrace Cody. No. Randy puts the belt down. He backs up into the corner, and he punts Cody Rhodes. Yes, he did the punt to Cody Rhodes, destroying him. As Cody was bleeding, he's trying to get up. He gets punted. The fans love it. They hate Cody. Randy Orton stands over a bloodied Cody Rhodes, holding up the championship, and that's how night one ended. No new champion. If you just saw that visual, like as a thumbnail, which I might use, it's going to make you think Randy Orton beat Cody Rhodes and he destroyed him, he blooded him up. No. Cody Rhodes beat Randy Orton, and Randy Orton attacked Cody Rhodes after the match and posed over him with the belt. Like, has a WrestleMania ever ended like that? Like, what a weird ending. And I don't know what the hell happened here. What happened? What was the message here? Like, what happened? Is Cody Rhodes heel? Is Randy Orton heel? Is Randy Orton going away? Is Cody Rhodes going away? Randy's injured now with his back, so is he going away? Cody Rhodes must be going away because he just got punted. He shouldn't be on TV for a while. Pat McAfee, he must be gone. Remember he said he would leave WWE forever if Randy Orton didn't walk out WrestleMania as champion? Well, that happened. He's not going to be champion. He didn't win. Is Pat McAfee gone now? It's so fucking confusing. Like, why did Randy turn on Pat? Like, what the hell? It was so weird. Like, when Pat came out, if the match ended before that, I would have liked it a lot better, and I still liked the match. I mean, as a main event, I'll say this, it was way, way better than Cody Rhodes against John Cena last year at WrestleMania, but it's nowhere near as good as that triple threat last year with Punk, Roman, and Seth. Nowhere near as good as that. I don't know what to say. It was just, the ending was just like, when Pat came back out, it ruined it. I was getting into it because of the blood, and I was getting into the match, but like the stuff with McAfee at the end was, it's so confusing because I don't know what the hell happened. Like, what? Is Cody heel? Is Randy face? It's what the fuck? So, we did have the WrestleMania 42 post show, which I watched. Kathy Kelly was talking by the fans, and she was saying how everyone hates Pat, and I was thinking, all right, is Pat staying? I don't know. Jackie Redmond was there. She was talking on the ramp as Cody was walking to the back. Then they had the panel outside. It was Biggie, Corey Graves, Joe Tessitore, Peter Rosenberg, all outside, and it was still light when they were talking. So, like I said, it's a WrestleMania where it was sunlight for the whole time. Paige joined the panel with the Bella Twins, and Jacob Fatu joined the panel on all gas and no brakes. Paul Heyman joined the panel. He cut a promo on Seth Rollins. Then they had Jackie Redmond interviewed AJ Lee backstage after the match. Feud should be over by now. AJ was happy even though she lost, and all I thought was, damn, Jesus, Jackie Redmond is so damn attractive. She is just incredibly beautiful. Then they show us Cody's eye backstage. It's all puffed up. It's like close shot, like he got punched in the eye in a fight. And then Liv Morgan joins the panel, still in her gear, which looked great, and she looked amazing in her gear. She's dancing on the panel. She dances with Corey Graves, and I'm sure Carmella who's married to Corey Graves. She must have really liked that. I'm sure they might bring her back now. They'll find an excuse to bring her back. I don't know. But yeah, that was that was just, it was strange. Liv was doing. I was like, man, Liv. She was really excited that she won. I'll say that. It looked like she was having the time of her life, and how can you not be happy for her? She had the hottest entrance ever, so you have to give her that. But Liv is the final guest as the post show ended. And then we get a music video recapping all of WrestleMania 42 Night 1. And that's how it officially ended, the whole thing, from the countdown show to the main show to the post show. So the negative, the fan feedback, which I've seen, which is limited, has been extremely negative. And I don't know if I would say it's like one of the worst WrestleManias ever. I'll say this, it's worse. WrestleMania 42 Night 1 was worse than WrestleMania 41 Night 1. And that's saying something. And, 41 Night 1 was worse than 41 Night 2. So, I don't know. It's the worst Night 1 ever. I'll say it's the worst WrestleMania since they've done 2 nights. So, out of all the WrestleManias that have been 2 nights, it's the worst night, single night of any WrestleMania. WrestleMania 42 Night 1 was. Mainly because the main event was confusing. It wasn't the worst main event. It's just like the ending was such a disaster. It was such a clusterfuck. It was so overbooked. Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer get 7 minutes. AJ and Becky didn't get much time either. Neither the women's tag team match, the Fatal 4 tag match. The opener match got no time. So it's like that's 4 matches getting no time. The only matches that got some time were Drew and Jacob got about a little under 15. And then Seth and Gunther got about 15. And the main event, of course, got a lot of time and went about 23 minutes. So many of the women, they got no time. The women's matches got no time. They got, they got done dirty on this show. The women on WrestleMania, they got no time. And I was critical of the matches they booked. So I'm not sure if they got a lot of time to win great matches. But, I mean, how are you supposed to have a great match when you don't even get 7 minutes for a women's world championship match? It's bullshit. Man, it's like the biggest issue with the show was the advertisements, the commercials. It's such garbage. I mean, I saw more of the Hulk Hogan documentary than I need to see now. It's like I feel like I've seen it already. I was looking forward to watching it when it comes out on Wednesday, I believe. But just with WrestleMania 42 Night 1, man, it's the TKO has killed this company. That's all I can say. TKO has ruined WWE. There's nothing else to say about it. The advertisements are so much. It takes away from the show. It's like we're getting fucking commercials during WrestleMania. We're getting commercials during WrestleMania. Do you understand that? How big of a problem that is? How ridiculous that would have sounded 5 years ago? Fucking like 2-3 years ago? Commercials during WrestleMania? Oh, it's so terrible. It's so commercialized. It's the celebrity involvement. They're so desperate to get social media views. They don't give a shit about the actual product, and it's painful to watch sometimes. Triple H deserves blame. SmackDown is an atrocious show. Raw is usually okay most weeks, but SmackDown's terrible, and most of the PLEs are not good. I don't put this on him. He has no time. Like, how I complained about certain people not getting matches on WrestleMania. They're not going to get any time. Carmelo Hayes would have no time on this show. People wanted him on this show. I mentioned a lot of the women who were not on the show earlier. How are you supposed to book a WrestleMania or a PLE when so much time goes directed towards the fucking commercials? And you have to feed all these advertisements. And if you don't, you're going to get fired. I'm critical of him in a lot of ways. But not for this show. All I can say is WrestleMania 42 Night 1 was the worst WrestleMania since they've gone to 2 nights. It's a bad WrestleMania. It's somehow WrestleMania 42 is so far. We have to wait till next tomorrow's show, which I expect to be just as bad as this, by the way. But we have to wait. So far, WrestleMania 42 is worse than WrestleMania 41 was. 42 Night 1 was worse than 41 Night 1, and that's saying something because I hate WrestleMania 41. I hated last year's show. It was one of the worst WrestleManias in years. 41 is going to be better than 42. 42 is nobody needs to talk about the others. Like 40, which is one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, as is 39. 38's really good. 37's at least okay. 36 was fine for what it was in the Performance Center. 35 was way better, that marathon show. So was 34, which was not good as a marathon show. 33 was better than this. I'll say 32 is better than 42. I like WrestleMania 32 more than WrestleMania 42. 31, 30 million times better, of course. I don't know about 29 and 27. 28's better than this. I don't know what else to say, man. There's nothing else to say other than this. TKO is killing the WWE, or perhaps TKO has killed the WWE, and they've already killed WrestleMania.